Al, from 7, there was 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means we're almost out of this arc. Yay!
Yay!
Let's go!
Let's go. It's about time.
It certainly is about time. Yes. Hello, welcome to this week's episode. Jared now watch Inuyasha is episode 122. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady M.
Hello.
We are discussing season 5, episode 10, or episode 120, entitled Fare Thee Well, Jakotsu's Requiem, for 3 minutes of this episode.
Yeah. Like I said, maybe we should have gone with a different title for this episode, but
Jakotsu's not even the only person who dies in this episode.
I mean, you're right. I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Oy, 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 oy. So yeah, we kick this off with the resumption of Jakotsu and Inuyasha fighting, where Inuyasha was all trapped and was like, "Oh, how's he gonna get out of this?" He just gets out of it. He uses the wind
Yeah.
scar and he's fine. And then Jakotsu's trapped under a bunch of rocks, and Inuyasha's like, "Well, I'm not gonna kill you. See you later."
Yeah. Jacobs is like, please kill me. Kill me. And he's like, no, I'll kill you next time if you show up again. We're we're good. I'm tired. We gotta go.
Yeah, I got things to do.
So he just sits there under the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Has like memories of Inuyasha, fighting Inuyasha, thinking about Inuyasha, and also hanging out with Bankotsu.
Yeah, that's all the memories you get.
Oh, and riding on the tank.
Yep. Uh, while that happens, Rinkotsu shows up and is just like, "Hey, sorry," and then just
No,
yoinks.
doesn't even talk.
Well, he says like something. Is like, but he just says something and then just like yoinks the jewel shard out of Jakotsu and kills him.
I thought he apologized after he took it.
No, I think it's before.
Oh, okay, because I was like, why didn't you even say anything? Jerk.
Yeah, Jakotsu's now dead, and then one of the bees runs up and is like, "Well, there's no jewel shard to pick up, so I'm just gonna take this hairpin and see ya."
Bye.
Kik-
I was joking that the bee was going to take it to his wife
you were.
as a gift.
Kikyo finds Hakushin and hangs out with him for a little bit, and it's like, "Hey, what's up? You seem sad. Why are you so sad?" Hakushin's like, "I'm not sad. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm angry. Yes, angry.
Yes, I
People were
agree.
mean to me."
Brr, I didn't want to
And
die.
Kikyo's like, "Well, that's your own fault. That you did this to yourself. You're a dummy. You big old fool. I want to touch your soul, by the way." He's like, "Huh?" Inuyasha running around Mount Hakare still. He just, getting his cardio in, getting his steps in.
Hmm.
He keeps finding more of Naraku's scent. And he's like, "Naraku's gotta be nearby." Renkotsu's also in the mountain still, and he also feels Naraku, and he's like, "Oh, Naraku's making his move. I gotta go get. I gotta put this jewel shard in my neck, and then I gotta go leave."
Hmm.
Kagome and everyone are still at outside of Mount Hakare, and they're just chilling, watching the barrier dissolve and just chaos happening in Mount Hakare. So Kagome's like, "Well, no one's come yet, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see what's up." And she just tosses Shippo and Kirara to Koga and's like, "Oh, take care of them. See you later."
Take care of them.
And
Bye.
he's like, "Okay." Renkotsu leaves, and then he finds Bankotsu on a rock just sitting there. He's like, "Well, I gotta kill him now. I gotta do it." But Bankotsu's like, "No, just kidding. You clearly, I knew this was gonna come the whole time. I'm so smart." And Renkotsu's very upset because Bankotsu also has a bunch of jewel shards and is like, "You're kind of doing the same thing I'm doing. I don't know why you're so mad about this." And then they fight with Bankotsu not using his sword, and Rinkosu just gets jobbed out to oblivion, uh, loses via the hairpin, and then gets all his jewel shards taken out and turns into dust.
Yeah. The hairpin as a murder move was pretty intense.
Uh,
Also, him just like pulling them out of his neck. I was like, holy moly. Okay.
Yeah, before Renkotsu dies, he's like, "Hey, what's the difference between you and me? What we're doing the same thing, right?" Renkotsu's like, "Well, I would never betray my friends," as he murders him,
As he murders his friend.
and also has stolen all their jewel shards to put in
Yeah.
himself. Hmm.
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 He gets up and heads back into Mount Hakare because the final
Um,
battle for the Band of Seven.
I was joking with you that Bankotsu, between himself and his sword, he has more jewel shards than the entire crew's had, like, throughout the entire season.
It's not wrong.
Or series, I guess,
Yeah,
not even season. I'm like, oh, he has many shards.
he does have many shards. We go back to Kikyo and Hakushin. Hakushin lets down his barrier. He's like, "All right, you said you could save my soul." She's like, "Well, I didn't actually say I could, but I'll listen to you. You can cry into my booba.
I'll give you a hug.
I'll give you a weird hug."
Yeah, she like gives him the strangest hug, but she definitely does put the booba like right in his face.
Mm-hmm. And then he just turns into bubbles and disappears.
And Ichiban was like, "Whoa, look at them go!"
Are these catnip bubbles? I want them.
It was so funny. He was like, "Whoa!"
And then Kikyo pulls out that dude's hair and is like, "Oh, let's let this disintegrate as well."
I mean, to be fair, he did ask her to do that.
True. It'd been a while.
And she's like, "No one is without sin."
Mm-hmm. Uh, Kikyo's going up Mount Hakare, and then it rumbles, and then she's like, "What's that?" And then here comes a bunch of demons bursting out of it because the barrier is fully gone now. And then
Uh-oh.
they're all coming to her, and she stumbles her bow and arrow. Is like, "No!" And then Koga shows up and is like, "Hiya! I got you."
He's like, "I gotta protect you because otherwise that dog is gonna be real mad at me."
It's true. Inuyasha continues to try and find Naraku, but then Bankotsu shows up and is like, "Well, I gotta fight you instead." It is continuously very funny that they are trying to make Bankotsu a threat when he's just Naraku's little.
Yeah, absolutely,
It's just like, bro, what are you
bro.
doing?
He's not even thinking like remotely about what's happening here.
No,
Although he does kind of talk like a head empty guy, so maybe he is just a head empty guy.
just very dumb, which is not good for your supposedly this big villain that you're trying to make here.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Does not help in the slightest. Oh,
No,
also,
no,
we
no.
saw Sesshomaru and the gang very briefly, just hanging out, watching the barrier from Mount Hakare disappear.
Right, I forgot that they existed
There's
until
like,
just now.
interesting.
Hmm.
Anyways, but yeah, that's the end of this episode. Inuyasha and Bankotsu are gonna have their face off next time. We got a few notes here.
Okay.
Bankotsu and Renkotsu's confrontation is extended in the anime. In the anime, after taking the two shards in his neck, Bankotsu returns them to Renkotsu. Renkotsu then attacks Bankotsu with his explosives and fire gourd. The attacks have no effect on Bankotsu, and he takes Renkotsu's shards. In the manga, Bankotsu takes Renkotsu's shards in his neck and doesn't return them to him. He then takes his third shard, killing him. But he would never betray his friends.
Never.
This is the only episode also in which two of the Band of Seven are killed instead of only one. Bankotsu is now the last of the Band of Seven.
Still a good point that you made that like it's Jakotsu's Requiem and not even the only person who dies. And also dies within like 2 minutes, so.
Yeah, Renkotsu's in this episode longer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like has actually had an arc that has been set up for this like alter betrayal at the end.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for us this week. Next time, we will be discussing episode 121 entitled Final Battle, the last and strongest of the Band of Seven. This is not going to be the final episode of this arc. We still have one more after this. But it is the final battle of this arc. Yay.
You said final battle, and for some reason my brain started singing final countdown.
That's two different things.
It is two different things.
But that's what we're going to talk about next week. But for now, if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. And also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can follow us on Blue Sky, seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, Hot Tubs, and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And explore us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. So join us next time as we begin our final Band of Seven battle.
Yay!